good morning, and good day, good afternoon. Welcome back again with Real Talk with Eugene on, can you believe it's September 3rd, 2020? Well, welcome back to Real Talk, where Real Talk provides a platform for us to talk about what's real in the world and what's going on. And as I'm waiting on my guest, Ronald Blair, I'm just going to talk about a few things that he and I had discussed last night. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to the New Thought Radio Network. You will find a link in the comments section there. You can sign up for newsletters from New Thought Media Network to let you know what's going on. And also there's a link for your donations. Any donation, of course, is highly appreciated. Again, Real Talk with Eugene is about providing a platform where we get to talk about what's on our hearts, and how we navigate what's going on in the world today. So, as you know, this is the fourth episode, fourth installment with New Thought Media Network. And I'm very happy about that. And we're going to continue with this. And on this fourth one, I am continuing with having a new thought on new thought. And today, I want to speak more about having a new thought on ancient wisdom. You know, as I mentioned in the very first show that I did 4 weeks ago, that new thought isn't anything new. It's just having a new thought on wisdom teachings that have been around for a long, long time. And today, what I want to talk about on this new thought on ancient wisdom is the law. Now, in the science of mind and spirit philosophy, there's a spiritual technology that we know of as affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment. And there are 5 steps, 6 steps, 4 steps, depending on how you are taught. But that last step is usually releasing your word to the law, releasing your word to the law. Now, I was doing a workshop a couple of years ago on the 5 steps to prayer, and we got to that law part. And one of the participants in the workshop he asked a question, so what is this law thing? Now, I have to honestly admit that I don't remember exactly what I said to him at that time. And I knew that at that time it was okay for him, but it didn't sit well with me. Right. So I wanted to dive deeper into what the law is, and I talked about it a little bit a couple of episodes ago, where in the science of mind teaching symbol, it is that middle section, right? Within the teaching symbol, where the top part, the top third is spirit, conscious mind. And then the second section is the law or the soil, the subconscious mind. And then that bottom third section is the manifestation. That's where we get to see the effects. Now, putting it in the simple way, it is seed, soil, plant, right? So the seed, of course, would be that your conscious thoughts, and you get to create, you get to say what it is that you want to do. You get to think about and feel what you want to experience. And then that goes into what we simplistically say the soil, right? And this is where the law is, right? And this is what makes it all happen. This is where all of this gets to take place. Just checking on my brother here. So I want to talk a little more about this today, because in the teaching, when I say ancient wisdom, I want to talk about the Kabbalion. The Kabbalion is a Hermetic teaching from Hermes. Actually, his name in the ancient Egyptian mystery school he's known as Thoth. And in this teaching, in the Kabbalion, one of the first principles, and everything else is shaped around that. The first principle is that we're talking about the all. Now, the all can be named, spirit, God, universal intelligence, whatever name that, we're comfortable with. But in the Kabbalion, it's talked about, it's referred to as the all. And it says that the all is mind and the universe is mental. The all is mind and the universe is mental. So when we update this, right, talking about having a new thought on ancient wisdom, what we are speaking about is everything comes through the mind. Everything comes from our conscious mind feeding what it is that we want to experience into the subconscious mind. Now, it has been said that the subconscious mind is the 85 to 90% of our mind that we don't use. Well, doing some research, what I found out is that the subconscious mind is the 80%, 85 to 90% of the mind that we don't know about. Take that as you will. However, this is where the law is. Now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is going on in life. Now, I know I might get a little bit of pushback on that because there's a lot going on in life. We have, of course, the COVID-19 that is going on. We have demonstrations going on every day, and it's been happening every day for months. We have economic stuff going on. We have, political stuff going on. And then you hear me say, it doesn't matter what's going on. But what I mean by that is this. What matters is how we intentionally work with this law. See, because if the only thing that the law does, the only thing that the law knows how to do is to give us back what it is that we want to experience, right? So we're taking this ancient wisdom, and so stick with me here, hang in there with me, because I'm going to bring it up to the current time and where we are. So with this law, we get to really, on an individual basis, think about and really feel what we're talking about, feeling what we're thinking about, what we want to experience in our lives. Because the law, all it knows how to do is say yes. All it knows how to do is to answer us in the affirmative. Here's the really interesting thing about this thing that we call the law, the subconscious mind. And there's a universal subconscious mind that everybody is also connected with, because there's no separation in this at all. Is that the subconscious mind, the law, doesn't care what you think. It doesn't care what you give it. It doesn't care. All it knows how to do is say yes, right? So I liken it to the crew of a ship. So if the subconscious mind is the crew, then the conscious mind, that part of us that we get to learn, from our sights and our hearing and our smelling and our touching and all of that, if the conscious mind would be the captain of the ship, and the captain of the ship will then impress upon the crew where it wants to go, what it wants to do. The crew, the subconscious mind, doesn't question the captain. It doesn't argue with the captain. It just says, aye, aye. It just says, your wish is my command. So when we bring it into our own personal lives, the subconscious mind, yes, it creates everything for us. It is that part of us that knows only yes. So it houses our intuition, it houses our imagination, it houses our creativity, right? And it's that power that allows us to create in the way that we create. But one more thing that is in that subconscious mind is our memories, are the memories that we have grown up in. And so if I have a memory, if my memory, and I have a feeling tone wrapped around this memory of being less than, The subconscious mind doesn't care about that. All it knows is that it's going to take what I am feeling about being less than and then create experiences for me to prove myself right. And then I go, see, nothing ever works out because I'm not worthy of anything better. It's very important that we keep aware of our thoughts. I've talked about this before, where people say, be careful of what you ask for. And the reason why people say that is because we get what we ask for, right? So if that's the case, because it is the case, because that is the case, let's not be careful. See, because being careful puts in and adds a little bit of a feeling tone of fear. Oh, I got to be careful of what I ask for because I might get this. Well, if that's the case, because we're going to get what we feel, we're going to get what we think, because the subconscious mind, the law of our lives, only knows how to say yes. But then let's not be careful. Let's be aware. Let's be aware of what we are asking for. Let's be clear on what it is that we want to experience, right? So now let's bring this up to date. Okay, my brother Ron Blair is not able to get on. We'll catch him next time. So let's bring this up to date. Say that you are having a life experience, right? Now, this is easier said than done, but that's why they call it a practice. Say that you're having a life experience that is not in harmony with what your inner being is wanting to experience, right? Say that you're having an experience where your relationship is not as harmonious as you would like, right? So what we get to do now, what I get to do is to stop and to really feel into, maybe the reason is maybe I don't deserve to have a loving relationship. And I don't even know that, right? But subconsciously, because maybe perhaps I grew up believing that I wasn't worthy of a happy relationship, because maybe my experience in growing up with my parents wasn't, all of that, all that great. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I know that it has happened in many, many lives. So maybe that is a blind spot that has been acting, within our lives. And so we find ourselves in relationship after relationship after relationship that doesn't work. Now, personally, I have to say that I had that experience where, after sabotaging this relationship not once but twice, it was time for me to take a look at me, going, what is within me? What is within my subconscious mind that had me afraid of being loved, but also being afraid of opening my heart to love, right? So as we bring this to our current situations, we find that in this atmosphere of protest, right? So yes, we have our individual subconscious mind, but there is a collective subconscious mind that attaches all of us, right? So we have these protests going on, and there's so much emotion within these protests on both sides, on either side. There's so much that's going on. There's this angst, and then there's this sometimes no, and then there's this anger, and there's this sorrow, and there's this pain, right? I want to throw out what I call another way to look at WTF, right? Where's the faith? Right? Where's the faith? Now, this takes practice, you guys, right? It takes practice to hold strong. There are things that are going up. My brother, Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, and I were speaking a few months ago, talking about this old gospel song, wading in the water. God's going to stir up the water. So this infinite intelligence that we are all a part of, and that it is a part of all of us, We are a part of that, and we are the ones. There isn't anything outside of us that is stirring up the water except for ourselves, and how we as human beings have treated other human beings. So now here we are at a time in our lives, where the earth, the world, the population of the earth, the population of the world are saying, you know what, we have had enough. So new thought on ancient wisdom. So, what I am inviting everyone to do is to take a moment out of every day, and imagine what it would feel like to recognize, cool, but let my brother in, to recognize what it is that you want to experience, because we are again working with this thing called the law that is just a magnificent thing. And I am so glad and honored to see my brother Ron Blair on the line. Good morning, my brother.
Hey, Eugene, how you doing, brother? Sorry, I'm
I'm
late
good,
here.
man. That's okay, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's been a long time, bro.
Yeah, it has. My hair has grown.
Yeah, just a little bit, Ron.
Yeah,
Just
just a
a
little bit.
little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah. Just real fast. Okay, thanks, Robert Brzezinski. I just saw your chat. Um, just real fast. I want to catch everybody up on who my brother Ron Blair is. Ron and I was saying earlier with Robert that Ron and I have known each other. Man, can you believe it's been over 20 years?
Oh yeah.
Um, Ron is a an agape licensed spiritual practitioner. That's where I met Ron. We met at agape in the choir and the feeling tones, and then doing some work with men's groups and stuff like that. And I wanted to reach out to Ron to be on Real Talk on this particular day. Well, actually, Ron, you've been on my mind, as I had mentioned to you. You've been on my mind and heart for a while. And so when Ron and I connected last night, we were talking about what we were going to speak about. And so just wanted to catch Ron up. We are talking about the law, and how all it knows how to do is say yes, right?
Yes.
So what I want to do is I want to hand this over to you, Ron, so that you can speak about where you are and what you're doing in reference to this thing called the law.
Hmm. Oh well. Okay. Well, what's just come to me is that it's important for me to know me in all of this human experience. Um, growing up in a Baptist upbringing where my grandfather was a Baptist minister, I was raised in that vibration, that religious vibration. But there was always something about the religious path that left me questioning. And so in my quiet questioning, I began asking, questions like, what was, Jesus, I call the master, doing between 12 and 30?
Right.
And so the religious practice doesn't really say too much about that. So I had to go outside of that, and then experiencing certain spiritual practice, truth practices that were at work at that time, that sent him all over to all the masters. And what I got out of all of that was that he understood the law. Every place he went taught him the law, the universal laws and principles that govern this whole universe. And so I had to take a deeper look at, okay, what part am I playing in this? How does this affect me? Well, being an emanation made in the likeness, substance, and essence of the creator, all the power that the creator is passed down to its creation. So I realize now that the power that is in the creator is in its creation that I am. So therefore, through the universal laws and principles, first law being mentalism, second being correspondence, the third probably is vibration, the fourth being polarity, and then the fifth being rhythm, sixth being cause and effect, and third and the seventh being gender. All these are universal principles that are lying within this universe, and every aspect of life is being governed by them. So therefore, I had to take a deeper look at, okay, how am I utilizing this law? Well, the first law in mentalism tells me it's done unto me as I believe. So I've been taking a deep look at my beliefs. Forget about what my mother, my father, my grandfather, and everybody else believed in. What am I believing in? Because that's what's creating my human experience, you see. And so therefore, once I'm realizing that, then there is no blame of any person, place, or thing for the experience I'm having. And from that perspective, I get to now take a deeper look at what beliefs I'm operating under that is creating this experience. Am I operating from a belief that there's separation? There's something outside or other than the one, the creator, the master? Am I believing that there is an opposition, that something's out there going against me, that's challenging me, that's trying me? Or am I realizing that God is all that there is and there is nothing else? And from that perspective, all things is in a divine order under the orchestration of, I believe, love. And from love, all the qualities of love: compassion, care, giving, abundance, prosperity, opulence, creativity, all these lie within me. So I'm void of nothing. I'm only limited by my own belief system. So this has given me an opportunity to really start taking my focus away from the external, realizing that my feelings and emotions are my messengers, and that I must pay attention to what they're telling me that is going on within my kingdom. I'm the king of my kingdom, you see. And I get to take a look at, is my kingdom at peace? Because if my kingdom is not at peace, then the external world that I am also participating in is not going to be at peace. So if I'm seeking peace, if I'm seeking abundance, prosperity, if I'm seeking anything, I must turn within, because it's already done within me. So this is where I get to now see how in form there's polarities. Call them what you want, good or bad, right or wrong, negative, positive. Call it what you want. There are polarities that exist in form that reveal the energies of which one can experience. Let me put it that way. So therefore, one may call one side the negative, one may call the other side the positive. But what I'm realizing is that because of who I am, I get to choose what my experience is going to be. You see, there's a saying, an old saying that says, man may meant it for bad, but God meant it for good. So therefore, it's giving me this opportunity to be more aware of, where is my focus? Is my focus on the bad? Because if my focus is on the bad, this is what I'm believing in, and this is what I'm experiencing. This is just the law. So therefore, it gives me this chance to choose God and only God. There's another saying, seek God, his kingdom, and all of his right consciousness, and everything else to be added. So I get to take a look at, where, again, is my focus. a lot of things that are happening in the world today are distractions, you see. And if I'm distracted from my power, or the power that is within me that allows me to live in the fullness, then that's on me. See, nobody has that power to take that choice away from me. I get to choose where is my attention, where is my focus. Understanding these laws and principles that all things exist within these polarities, I get to take a deeper look at when God is all that there is, what am I saying is wrong? You see, because see, that's the beginning of creating a belief that is an illusion. That if I keep giving it the attention, the focus, the energy, the power, it shall uh, uh, manifest into form, and I shall experience it.
So let me ask you a question, Ron, about all of that, and I'm right there with you, brother. So with all of that, because it is done unto us as we believe, how do we use this in what's going on with what's happening today with all of the experiences? Oh, real fast, the principles that you've mentioned, I already talked about, that those are from, the principles of mentalism are from the Kabbalion.
Yeah.
So how do we use this, man, in what's happening in the world today, with everything that is going on, right?
Well,
Because I know for me, because for me sometimes it sounds like it's just an individualistic thing, that let me just work on me and I'm okay, and to hell with what's going on out there.
well, it's not to hell with going on out there, because everything is
Mhm.
God. See, everything is taking place within the mind of God. There is nothing outside the mind of God. You see, and what I've come to realize, and it's what our mentor has shared with us, that the how is not my business. See, it's not about how do I do this and how do I do that. It's about, am I willing to experience what you mentioned earlier, the vision, the image that I have in my mind? Am I willing to experience that? Because we both know that the work is not going to be done by us. See,
Mm.
the
Mhm.
work will be done through us. But what it's going to take from me is my willingness. Okay, now let me be willing to be right here, right now, in the midst of this, and acknowledge the chaos that is surrounding me, yet realize that I am the eye of this storm.
Come on.
See, and I get to realize that all chaos is looking for a stable source to be transformed into a power that reveals a usefulness. You see, a power that's good not for one but for all. You see,
Right.
so therefore, it takes a willingness to now realize that I'm believing in is what you mentioned earlier about faith. Am I having faith, and am I trusting that I believe in? Because if I'm not, I'm going to be in my finite mind trying to figure this out, trying to make this happen. See, and that's
You
what's,
know,
to me, that's the blockage that everyone has created, that has gotten in the way of the eternal flow that has everybody's interest, as everyone's best interest at hand.
I love that question, man. Do I trust? you
Yeah.
know and do I his and for me the answer is yes. But the questions are, do I trust in this thing that I know, that I call the law? Do I trust that it is done unto me as I believe? Do I trust in myself? Do I trust my willingness to stand boldly? And I love what you said, in the midst of the chaos, being the eye of the storm. And when I talk about the eye of the storm, as you know, right, we're not talking about the EYE, we're talking about that capital I, as in I am,
That's right.
to be the eye in the storm, that, this is the peace that surpasses all understanding, right? So for me, it came to, let me be that peace. And we talk about that peace that surpasses understanding, is really standing under the knowing that I am the eye of the storm, and that people get to experience the peace, but they don't understand why.
Right. And then there's an understanding and acceptance that the how is already done.
Yeah, yeah. And we hear this a lot, that we don't need to worry about the how.
Right.
And people get distracted and sucked into, but how is this going to work?
Right.
I am one that, and I tell people all the time, it is a consistent practice.
Yes.
I remember, it was after a few years after I left Agape and came to Denver, and I was hearing the Rev speak once, and he put in a word that I hadn't heard him use before. Because he used to say it's about your spiritual practice, but then the word that he put in there and that he's used ever since is consistent spiritual practice. Right?
Absolutely.
So standing as the eye of the storm takes practice. Being willing takes practice every single day.
Well, one thing that's for sure, if I become aware, I'm practicing something. See, and I'm practicing something. So, let me become more aware of what is it that I'm practicing and what's the pay value. You see, that I'm practicing, is it allowing me peace? And if it's not allowing me peace, for what reason am I practicing that? See, this is the reason the focus has to be on self, because it's the self that is creating the experience that one is having. See, the external is a reflection of the internal. See, so therefore,
Right.
if I'm calling this, hell out there, then I must be having hell in here. You see, and if I don't like the hell out there, it's not about going about trying to change that out there. It's about, let me find peace within here, within me.
Right.
See, and then let that be projected out into my experience. You see, people are not realizing that they have a responsibility for what they are experiencing. There's a part that they're playing. You see, in the midst of all this pandemic and everything, you can recognize that there is a bombardment of fear when there should be a bombardment of love.
Right.
See, and so when people are choosing fear over love, then they have to understand that the pendulum swings equally in both ways. You see, absolutely. So therefore, if I'm not going to choose love, then I'm going to choose fear, and that doggone, pendulum is going to swing all the way over to the degree of how much I thought I loved. And what I come to realize is that what a lot of people are operating under a conditioned word called love, and not the eternal word love. You see, the eternal vibration of love, because in essence, anything and everything that is taking place, I'm seeing is an act of love when I see it with the eyes of God, with the eyes of love. Meaning, there's a lot of time people are traumatized by their perceptions that create traumatic feelings and emotions about experiences. Well, I'm realizing today that those same traumatic experiences can be transformed just by a willingness to see them differently. See,
man.
See, this is all Course in Miracles stuff. This is another act of new thought.
Right.
You see,
right.
what I come to realize, and sometimes the new thought practice, is that it's easy to pick up new concept, new words, but it's difficult to change old behavior.
Right. Right. Going back to, Yeshua, talking about trying to put new wine in old skin.
Right.
Right. So, and I love what you said, brother, man, because we want to be aware of what we're practicing. And when we talk about the law, and as I was contemplating that a number of years ago, it's like, well, I released my word into the law. So I'm thinking, like, well, if I don't release it, does it mean that the law is not working? No, the law is always on its job, because that's
right.
what it does. That's
right.
what it is.
Right.
So I was speaking earlier before you came on. You've heard the phrase, right? Be careful of what you ask for, and it's because we're going to get what we ask for. So let's not be careful. Let's be aware, because in being careful, we bring in that little sense of fear. You better be careful. No, if the law, knowing that the law works, then let me be willing to be aware of what I want to experience.
Absolutely. And what I'm saying and where I'm saying it from.
Where I'm saying it from.
See, that's
Check
so
to come
important.
From.
See,
check
where,
to come from.
Right. Where am I coming from? See, I've come to realize that also in this process of experiencing the very thing that I'm asking for, the law being at work is already bringing it forth. Until I'm experiencing it, I'm in the process of preparation. And that preparation is so important, because if I don't be in the preparation, if I get what I'm asking for, I might not be able to sustain it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
You see?
So yeah, man.
So there's a lot in all of this.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you said that, because we are coming to the end. So Ron, I want to have you come back in about 2 weeks or so we can continue this. All right?
Absolutely.
Because like you said, there's a lot here, man. There's a lot here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So I am so very happy for all of you who have tuned in with Real Talk with Eugene, and it's been my pleasure, and I'm honored and blessed to have my brother Ron Blair on with me today, man. Some good stuff. Flow like
the river flow. Yeah. I was
yeah, man. So everybody, again, I thank you for tuning in to Real Talk with Eugene. Again, I want to give another shout out to New Thought Media Network for making all of this possible. Please check out the comments section, because you will find a link there to join the newsletter for New Thought Media Network, and also the donation link. Anything that you give is absolutely appreciated, and how that law goes is what you give, you receive, right? So again, this has been another segment of Real Talk with Eugene. Ron, we'll be talking soon, my brother. Blessings to you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jane. All right, man. Peace out.
Peace.
You've been listening to Real Talk with Eugene Holden on the New Thought Media Network. If you've enjoyed this programming, please tell a friend and join us next week for more Real Talk with Eugene Holden.